Ma chi wa me pi chi yong na yong ji zen la mo run ma ju te sam chen kan la te tar ma Don you ba gan li cha de so Rang chi ge yin ber ma hi ber san yong mo de zhi wai Ma kor war chen bei sem chen la Yong ha mo chua chi cha de so Chi nyang ni che la ma chi pa他年此个剧场里，真他年别离哇啦，也没有那个拉米家的手。Gawa ranga sen thong ni gong ma she xia wa ngien bei yong wa la yong zhen bei la mi cha de so san rang xiong ni mei yi hi la ni si zhen bei wo cha chi知道是种种吧那特你没去拉米家的松养大个东拉你西江见证见等着么一比一西东拉蒙巴拉勇敢前进拉米下的手真正能开参夜间堂间的大爷没去大东罗米刚子了永宗三季节家的手
Thank you. So now we're going to do the opening prayer. Om other sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and nation. May the experience of happiness be separate from suffering and the save love establish them in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. All mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and damnation. May the experience of happiness be separate from suffering, and the save love establish them in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. Dalai Dam Varese Peda No Varese Bege Darpa Dan Dam Jen Jen Pe Varade Yo Varese Ba Tam Je Je Zoro Se Pe Manam Ga Dan Yam Pe Sem Jen Dam Je Dewa Dan Den Dong Arar Dan Jar Yorda lana neba yanda bara zobe sanjo rumboje tobar sa. Thus, until I achieve enlightenment, I perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and the mind. Until death, I perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and the mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and the mind. We take refuge in the Kandaru Lama and the lineage Lamas. We take refuge in the deity of the mandalas of Yadams. We take refuge in all the exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the perfect Dharma. We take refuge in the excellent order of the Sanghas. We take refuge in all the noble Dhakas and Dakinis and the Dharma gardens, possessors of eye of wisdom. Until I attain the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in the Dhamma, likewise in the example of the Bodhisattvas. As the previous Buddhas embraced the enlightened mind and the progress of the Bodhisattva's path are true for the benefit of all sentient beings, giving birth to bodhicitta, and applying myself to complete stage of the path. In the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. May they never be separate from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. So now we go to the page 10a. It's a short mandala offering. The ground it is sprinkling with the scented water and strewn with the flowers. It is adorned with the Meru, the spring mountain, the four continents, and the sun and the moon. As a Buddha fear, I offer it. May all sentient beings attain the happiness of the Buddha fear. To the lamas who possess the three kayas, I offer the altar, inner and sacred offerings. With my body, word, or that is visible, please grant me the spirit of realization and enlightenment. Whatever merit I have gathered through both stations, offerings, confession, rejoicing, beseeching, and praying, for the sake of the enlightenment of all sentient beings, all this I dedicate. Om Guru Rena Mandala Bunza Manga Samandra Zawaren Samaye Ahom. Equal refuge, ornament of the world, your fame provides the 3,000 words. You are the victor of Vajradhara, widow adored. I bow at the feet of Father Jigin Songho. Continually I think of no one but you. Compassionate one, grant your blessings. Dispel the darkness that surrounds my heart. Please bless me so that I can realize unliberated nature of mind. Please turn the way of the Dharma of the two worlds and their combination according to the disposition and likewise the mental capacity of a sentient being. So now we go into the Manjushri sadhana, and this morning mostly sadhana we finish, so we leave the 32 long press and page 32. His wisdom is brilliant like the sun, free of the clouds of the two worlds, and proves the various steps of the knowledge and the true nature. For this reason, He holds the wisdom text at this heart. He has the compassion for beings who suffer from the darkness of ignorance in the prison of samsara as a father for an only son. Like a thunderclap, he wakened those who are sleeping in ignorance and losing the chant of karma through the 60 branches of Haramane speech. He was the wisdom sword to cut the settling of suffering and to dispel the darkness of confusion. In the Bodhisattva form, he is pure from beginningless time, fully accomplished in the 10 levels, and perfect in the body of all knowledge. I supplicate you, Manjushri, adorned by the 112 sons of Buddha to dispel the darkness of my ignorance. You are the perfect youthful body, whose flame of wisdom blazes, and dispel the darkness of the worldly ignorance. I posted before you and praise you, Manjushri. At the heart chakra is a sun disk on which stands the mom syllable surrounded by the mantra circle and clockwise. In golden light, light radiate from the mantra and invoking all the blessings and emerge of all the Buddhas, and which dissolve into the mom syllable. Again, light radiates and transform the outer universe into the sphere purifying and purify all the obscuration of sentient beings who are then transformed into Manjushri, or are recite the mantra together. The light then returns into the sixth syllable. Om Wange Joremo, 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 Om Wange Joremo. Om Wange Joremo, 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 Om Wange Joremo. Om Wange Joremo, 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 Om Wange Joremo. Owange Yoremo. The outer universe dissolve. So we skip that one, sorry. And with 35. By the light of your wisdom, compassion one, may the darkness of ignorance in my mind disappear. To realize all sutras and commentaries, please grant me the power of radiant wisdom. Whenever I wanted to see you or want you to clarify my confusions, Lord Manjushri Kosha, may I have a clear vision of you without hindrance. You, Manjushri, have performed great deeds to the further limits of the 10 directions. For the benefit of all sentient beings, may I and all others perform the same activities. Bodhicitta, the excellent precious mind, where is unborn, may it arise, where it is born, may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. By the blessing of the Buddhas who attain the three kayas, by the blessing of the Dharma, inner truth of Dharma, and by blessing of the invisible Sangha, order made Mary Asher bear fruit. By virtue as pure as white snow of the mountains, may the teaching of Renashiri flourish in the 10 directions, and dispel the ignorance of all sentient beings that they will at last achieve the Buddha perfection of wisdom. Okay, so now we go into the teaching. So when you're listening teaching, you have to listen carefully, and also you have to sit correctly too. Actually, I know you're at your home, but when you're listening teaching, so you have to sit correctly. Even if you're not sick, they cannot lay down in the bed to listening, turn off the camera. So that's not great to listening teaching. And also you show the camera is like just go to directly and perfectly great way. So you're offering everything. Like, you know, not camera put in the sky, like no mindful. It's always like good way to listening, teaching, properly sit down. That's it. Everything is like, become offerings. Our body, speech, mind, offerings. When you're listening Dharma, you stay correctly. So you have to understand, yeah? That's all most important. Like when you read the way of Bodhisattva, Shantideva mentioned about like someone who no respect for Dharma. They said don't share the Dharma because no benefit much. And that's why there are many things you have to like change and like recognize Buddha is into your room and giving you teaching yourself. So kind of like that kind of understanding. So you have to sit properly and correctly, except only sick. If someone has a sick, and then that is acceptable. So otherwise, or you have to see correctly, listen carefully. Okay. So then today, going into the karma cause and effect, and also defect of samsara. So yesterday we finished impermanent meditation. You understand like what means impermanent. Everything's changing. Like that is a reality. Not we creating something, not impermanent. And we creating impermanent. Not like that. Everything is impermanent. So that is reality. But we didn't recognize. So due to our fixation, mind fixation, and that's why you practice, meditate, impermanent, and recognize all these phenomena reality. And we also recognize what's going on. So that's part. Yesterday I shared a lot. So today we're going into the this cause and effect, karma cause and effect. So four thoughts meditation. First is a precious human body. So second is impermanent meditations. Today is the third, is karma cause and effect. So karma cause and effect teaching, actually I shared many times already. And so today we can go a little bit less talk, if possible. We don't know, okay, what's going on in the teaching. So sometimes I wanted to less talk, but it's become more talk. Sometimes I wanted to talk lots, but then become in the teaching, it's become less talks. That's also kind of happening. So now is this stage of meditation, waking the boat, is page 18. Page 18. So to make meaningful use of our freedoms and the domains, we should meditate the karma law of cause and effect. So now we think about, we already shared the teaching, precious human body. So now we recognize we have that precious human body. So that precious human body is, we have to make meaningful use of our these freedoms and adornments. So otherwise, precious human body is wasting. So Nagarjuna said, the who wasting precious human body, that person is most foolish person in the world. Like kind of like ignorant person. Like he give examples, and very special something in the kind of like continent, or so kind of something like special treasure like this, and used for garbage can. So that person is like, we say crazy, because they don't recognize precious, that the object is all precious. They don't recognize it. They use the trash can. So So like that, you know, if we don't use the right direction, our precious human body, so then we are just same is like that kind of, you know, person. No understanding any, no wisdom. That's the reason, you know, very hard to get precious human body, also very easy to lose and permanent. So now we have that precious human body, we have to make meaningful use of our freedom, the like talk about 8 freedoms and 10 adornments. So we should meditate then how to make meaningful. So we have to meditate on karma, the law of cause and effect. We have to meditate karma, cause and effect. Yeah. So we meditate the karma, cause and effect. Then we know how to make meaningful our this life, and also life is become meaningful if we follow the cause and effect. So that is the become the our life is meaningful. So then follow the karma, cause and effect. We have to know what karma means, you know. So whatever karma we have equal will follow after our consciousness unerringly. So when we die, then of course this our possessions, nothing is can follow us. Yesterday we talked about the teaching, you know, impermanent. That is the truth, reality. So nothing is come with us. Which is come with us? Karma is come with us. Whatever karma we have equal will follow. You know, not only one lifetimes follow, the follow many lifetimes, endless lifetimes follow until karma is exhausted. Yeah, so that's why we have to create good karma, because good karma result is happiness. We have to stop the negative karma. The why, the reason is because the negative karma result is suffering. So we all beings want happiness. No one wants suffering. That is truth, fact. So then where is all happiness come from? All this happiness come from is virtuous deed. So where is this suffering come from? Suffering all come from no virtuous deed. So now we look to ourselves, we want happiness, ourselves. And also all these sentient beings want happiness. No one wants suffering. So every being want happiness, but samsara, all these beings, include us, are suffering. Why? Because we already create no virtuous karma, so that, you know, result is ripening. And so even we wanting happiness, but usually also creating causes of suffering. So now we want happiness, we have to create causes of happiness, not only wanting the result. If we don't want the suffering, we have to stop the cause of suffering. We want happiness, we have to create a cause of happiness. That's the Buddha's teaching. And usually, you know, this all samsaric beings has ignorance. Don't recognize which causes happiness, which is causes of suffering. That's why the Buddha shared the teaching is cause, karma, cause, and the effect. And all these beings, where it's come from, is cause and effect. No one create like kind of gods, powerful gods, no create us. Who create us? Our own karma create us. Who create karma? We create karma, own karma. Through our body, through our through our speech, through our mind. Okay, so then we create our own karma, and so we can also purify our own karma, and we can change our karma, because that we have ability to do ourselves. If karma is created by some other powerful beings, or these beings created by other powerful gods, someone, then these beings, sentient beings, ourselves include, we don't have a choice, because everything rely on the creator gods, you know. So now Buddha's teaching, when he, found the truth, and he found the right path, so he recognized no one created us, so he recognized we are own creator. So Buddha said, individually, everyone has opportunity, ability to change. So we can change ourselves, because we can change our karma. Our karma is, we create our own karma. So sometimes people think, oh, no, I get suffering is due to my karma and I cannot do anything. So that also sometimes misunderstand. We create our own karma. Of course, some karma is already ripening, result is ripening, we get suffering. But in that moment, we don't have a choice, but future is our hand. We can change future. See, we have a lot, maybe no virtuous karma created, like previous life karma, previous lifetimes, no virtuous karma. So we can purify that karma before the karma is ripening. So that we have a choice. And then also we can create good karma too, virtuous karma. So that result comes sooner or later future, So then people always ask questions when we create karma, when the karma is ripening. Yeah. So that's, we don't know. Because when karma ripening means followed by the conditions. It's all these conditions comes together, karma is ripening. If conditions not comes, karma cannot ripening. And same is the seeds. Seeds planted in the ground. Some is like get like plants, it comes out. Maybe weeks. Some takes months, some takes years. So that's always depending the seeds, is your plants, like when is the, result is ripening, it's dependent. So like that, we create our own karma, but the result is, we don't know when it's ripening, followed by the condition. Some karma is ripening very soon, right away in there. Some karma takes later time, some karma takes longer time to ripening. Some karma is not possible ripening in this life. If we create something karma like, animal karma, so that karma is cannot ripening in this life until changed our body. See, so long as we have human beings' body, so animals' karma is there, but it cannot ripening because there's no conditions there. So that's why we don't know karma when it's ripening, but karma takes like eons always there if until exhaust, until purified or purified. So then we create endless karma, of course, positive karma and negative karma many lifetimes. So we already kind of like resorting or how to call the like, and put together like kind of a karma is in there. Is so much karma is there, but not everything is king happening, you know. So it's always followed by conditions. Some karma takes many years and many lifetimes, so we don't know. So that is always no like one answer there. But then just some direct karma also happening. Direct karma is uh, like example, you talk very nice for someone, they also replay you back very nice polite words too. So that's Jigten Songgon said, and some his disciples said they don't recognize the direct karma. The karma means only feature, not direct karma there. So he said, okay, you hit somebody, they also hit you back. So you say some good words, that person also telling you good words. So that is, he said, it's direct karma. And then karma also in happening this life. So that is also Buddha's, he, you know, become his follower is like lower class. And when that person is become Buddha's follower, and that person has qualities for, you know, three baskets, and he shared the teachings. So also king also receive teaching from that person. So the Buddha introduced the king. That is the karma is happening in this life. You know, if that person is no change, is lower class, the king not going to receive teaching. Even king cannot close to stay that person. Yeah. So not going to talk and ignored. Then that person is become, you know, change. Is he is the become Buddha's follower, and he has like three basket, means he know all these teachings, and he has practice. So that's why he share the teaching. Also can also follow him too. So that is the like rapid karma in this life. So we can see like that lot, and you study very hard, and you can get good grade. You can get good jobs, right? So you follow the law and the rules, and you study very hard, and whatever you do correctly, and you have a good opportunity in this worldly activity things. So that's also karma, actually. Karma, follow the karma. That's all. It's like individually work hard, result is happening. That is no one create. That is individually, you know, did effort, and the result is happening. So that's we know a lot like that. And then there's so many diversity sentient beings. Where this diversity sentient beings come from? Because it's karma, due to karma, you know. Then this all diversity beings has a different lifestyle, different lifestyle. Why is that happening? Because it's due to karma. And the example, one parent, same parents has like maybe 5, 6 kids. When they grow up, it all has a different lifestyle. And some has a good life, some has very difficulty, some has a short life, some has a long life. Or it's followed by karma. This is unpredictable, you know. Even the parents give us same education, same school, but when they grow up, it's become follow the different lifestyle. So that's all is a karma. If not karma, then never happen like that. Yeah. So we can see that easily. Then some people always does things successful, good things happening. Some people does always difficulty, you know, hard things happening. So that also karma, but that karma, you cannot say like also directly, oh, that person is have good because he has good karma. Someone has like difficulty life. There's always say, oh, that person has a difficulty. That person has a bad karma. We cannot say that. The reason is We don't know the more longer goal. Only we look short period of time there, that moment. Why? So someone has a good life. Maybe that person is like something did good previous lifetime, good things. They're happening in this life, their karma. Their karma is going to exhaust. They don't know the years goes because that person is good karma is exhaust. Other someone who has a difficult life, difficulty, knows get many problems and many things, whatever that does, no success for lots of obscurations arise. But that person exhausting bad karma, and that person also become have good karma is rapid feature. So takes years, and then changed, and also takes life is changed. So that's why we cannot say it's someone is like become good, yeah, he has good karma. Someone is difficult, yes, we said that person is bad karma. So that's also we looking very short temporary thinking. Make sense? Do you understand what I mean? So that's you have to understand. Otherwise, think people who has difficulties, they think I have bad karma, then the minds become loose, you know, effort and lose like courage to do things. That's also not good. And have to recognize because the bad karma is happening in this life. Bad karma is exhausting. Have to recognize that. So sometimes difficulty, something happening in this life is great because taking care many future lives. Example, no example. The thing about the story about Angumala, when he he was in the ordinary person before he meet Buddha, he created so much non-virtuous deeds. He cares so many people. So when he meet Buddha, so he's become Buddha's follower. So he purifying karma, but still karma is with him a lot. And then people beat up him, and he no lose patience. He recognize what he did, and wrong things. That's why he recognized people beating him. He never angry with other people, even they're going to nearly dead. They beat him, but Buddha comes blessing him and take him. Buddha told him, giving teachings told him, no, you purify your all this feature, going into Haram's karma, because due to that beating up the other people. See, that he get beat that's other people's, he taking care already his future life reborn into the Harams. If he reborn Harams, like endless suffering, many lifetimes suffering. So see that kind of karma is happening in this life. Then the practitioners always say, if I'm sick, happy to sick. Very happy I'm sick because I purify my karma. And the practitioners say, I am healthy. I'm very happy I'm healthy. I can put more effort to practice Dharma. So the practitioners think that way. And so also that's good lesson for us. We have this human being's body. We are in samsara. We get always something, difficulty, problems. So you change your own mindset. Okay, so I think about it. I did something, previous love karma. Of course, we did a lot, endless karma there. So think, I'm purifying my karma right now. So then also, the practitioners, they think, this representative or other beings suffering. If like have courage to think that, then that small something effect for us that become meaningful, purify many lifetimes karma. So that's we use this impermanent meditation, karma cause and effect meditation is followed by daily life. Daily life. So you say, okay, meditate the karma cause and the effect. You really cannot think much. What are you going to do? Oh yeah, mind resting? No. So then, okay, what I have a karma, or I have human beings karma, yeah, it's then that's it. You know, you cannot really meditate much, right? So with meditate karma cause and effect is like followed by daily actually life. And when you get good things, something happening, you think you rejoice yourself, say, okay, I did something good previous as I did great good things. That karma is happening, and rejoice yourself, dedicate for others. And sometimes difficult comes, thinking about something previous life, negative karma is happening in this life, or this problem, taking care my lower realms karma, you think that, and then also thinking about all this representative or other beings suffering. So like when we get sick, we think, oh, my sick is like representative and all other beings sickness. So that kind, like your mind is open and dedicate, it's become purifying karma. So very powerful practice way to do that. We have to use this practice in daily life. So always something happening, Even right now we cannot show something, but you go days, monthly, years, always happening. So long as you have mindful, awareness, when that something happening, you just think about this karma cause and effect, and so dedication others. That's where it's like we have to follow the daily life cause and effect. So now the result of our actions now will later be experienced by us in the form of happiness or suffering. See, this of karma, results happiness and suffering. A virtuous action can be defined as any action, direct, covert, or indirect, that is done with the motivation to benefit others. So here in this one, talk about the karma cause and the effect. This section is Jigten Sumgong he shared in the Gonjek text. So also you can go into the Gonjek text, one root text. I don't remember exactly the English how to say. So in there I make commentary. So that have a talk about the laws in this way, cause and effect. So I follow that way too, in this section. So what Jigten Sunggung says, virtuous action can be defined as any action, direct, covert, or indirect. This is done by the motivation to benefit others. So virtuous deeds, no virtuous deeds, Jigten Sunggung said, is followed by motivations, not followed by object. Yeah. So of course the beginner teaching, the virtuous, no virtuous, like followed by the object, object like, oh, you cannot do this, or you do this is good, or you don't do these things is bad, followed by the object. So Jigten Sunggung said, virtuous deeds, no virtuous deeds, are followed by motivations. So then motivation, which is the virtuous deeds motivation to benefit others. So thinking about others, I wanted to serve other beings, I wanted to benefit other beings. So something like that kind of motivation, not thinking about our own benefits, not our own agenda, something. So pure mind and wanted to benefit others. So that is directly and indirectly. Some is directly, some is indirectly, So indirectly means like you not directly benefit them. You just like say, okay, other people, you know, or through some other people to help someone, and through the other people make courage to benefit some other people. So that is called indirectly. Directly is like you directly evolve that situation. So follow the motivation. So then, long as you have good motivations, directly, indirectly, so whatever you're doing, that is called virtuous deeds. So this means like no followed by speech, no followed by body, most is followed by mind. And these two different levels, Hinayana tradition, Mahayana tradition. So this is like actually Mahayana tradition. Hinayana tradition is more followed by auto level object. Mahayana means followed by intention and mind. So this is followed by mind intention. This Hinayana means like I share with you lots already. That is like first step teaching, you know, basic teaching, first for beginners. So same is like in the kids didn't have a good behavior, not listening the parents. So like parents make scare them, okay, don't go outside and there's the tigers or lions, they're going to eat you. Or someone like kind of like Angumala, you know, that kind of person is outside somewhere, they come to get you, don't do these things. They make good behavior. So like that, you know, basic teaching is focused with auto level object. Don't do this or don't do this, you know, or don't care this bird, and okay, don't stealing other things, people own the things. So all is like followed by object to make decision follow that way. And this Mahayana teaching is like more, you know, not for kids, beginners, like more higher level, then someone who has ability to do many things, you know, the not don't have to exactly follow by object, you know, you can change the object. More follow by motivation means person has more ability, can change the object. So same is like we talk about a white liar, you know, something like that people say, yeah. So if you wanted to save somebody's life, you can say liar is not non-virtuous, it's become virtuous. So like that. And actually, the basic teaching is to say, okay, all liar is non-virtuous. Whatever you say is liar is non-virtuous. So then up to Mahayana, this higher level, not all liars non-virtuous. Some liars become positive and white liars. So maybe not thinking about yourself. You wanted to save other beings' life, benefit others. You know, also stealing, also same thing. Some actually the followed by beginner teaching, or stealing is bad. Whatever you does, stop. But higher level, someone who has ability, then the stealing also not no virtuous deed. There has also white stealing too, because someone has like so strong stingy, and that person has food, clothes, lots things. Some other people like maybe hunger and thirsty, dying somewhere. So that person doesn't help. So like someone go to stealing from them and give it to other people. There is become create accumulation. Maybe they don't have negative karma to stealing. That is become generosity. So see that is followed by motivations. So then killing also actually of course no virtuous deeds most people, but some people kill someone. It's like you exchange killing, you know, exchange. So you want to save many people, and you want to save many people's happiness, you know, peace. Someone destroy many people's happiness, peace, you know, life is destroying. You just go to get that person, and what do you do things, it's virtuous deed, like the no virtuous deeds. So that is Buddha Shakyamuni. His previous life, he killed ship captain. He's become ship captain. Killed the other guy. You know, one guy is in there. So you can see that story. So that story give clearly information there. So then the actually killing is no virtuous, but motivation is change everything. You know, motivation change everything. Then the of course the Buddha, his previous life, he when he's become ship captain, the person care, and the guy who has you know, good bad intention, wanted to care lots of people. So Buddha ship was born ship captain. He cared this guy, and the actually that everything is not virtuous deeds, but there's like virtuous, no virtuous deeds. Virtuous deeds is like 99%, and no virtuous 1% there. Because when he hit the, you know, the knife or something, you know, warping to the person that take the life, so that 1% is that's no virtuous, but his motivation is 99% is positive. So it is the, you know, clairvoyance and the high realizers research what they did, you know. the, the karma is like positive or not positive or negative, or that what he did action is 100% positive or not 100% positive. So the most silly thing is 99% is positive, only 1% is the that has wrong, but that 99% is more strong than 1%, right? So we have to think that way, you know. And then the bodhisattvas, the uh, does things benefit is like uh, the small things give up more bigger things. Like example, the generosity is compared to morality, that take the morality, the more important, to give up the generosity part. If generosity and the patient have a choice, the bodhisattvas pick up the patient, you know, and the patient and compared to joyful effort, pick up joyful effort. So joyful effort is comparing to then meditation, concentration. So pick up meditation. Meditation is comparing to wisdom, picking up wisdom. So that's all is like dependent, you know. So you have this, you have to give up one, so you have to give up the you know, the other one is most, which is most important is you pick up that. That is the Bodhisattvas act, like benefiting other beings, follow like that. So that's why it's like cannot say everything 100% positive is, but which is most important. So they pick up that. That is Bodhisattva's skillful method to benefiting other beings. Okay. So now, then no virtuous action can be defined as any action, direct, covert, or indirect, that is motivated by the intention to harm others. So then say virtuous deed, no virtuous deed. You can ask people lots of questions. What is this virtuous deed or this no virtuous deed? And also many people think, can I do this? Can I do this or cannot do? So you always ask the teachers. But actually, can do or cannot do is like you have to know yourself. See, you know your motivation. So you know your what you're doing. So then you don't have to ask question. You can make decision there. If you ask question me and I don't know your motivation, I don't know, right? So your motivation you recognize. See, then that's virtuous deed, no virtuous deed. You have to make decision. So very easy. If you follow by object, then very hard to make decision. Can do or cannot do. Okay. So if you make follow by decision is your own motivation, then it's easy that you recognize your motivation. So what is virtuous deed? What is no virtuous deed? So then the the main point, virtuous deeds, Buddha said, don't harm for other beings, no harming for other beings. So that is no virtuous deed. And helping for other beings means virtuous deeds. Yeah. So that we have to follow that. And the virtuous and non-virtuous, so follow that way is that just you can make easily understand and decision. So that's why it's in Jigten Songgon teaching is a very direct cut through. So other teachers, many philosophers confusion too in this area because they said they cannot do like that. Makes follow by the Buddha's cause. This or the like Nalanda University, this Paintatas scholars caught using this, follow that. They said this you can do. They said they cannot do this. They all follow by that way. It's very hard to make decisions. So Jigten Songgon said, don't have to think that. Look to your motivation. So, and then we can make decisions. Like this all is like have to look in our intention. Then when we recognize the difference between virtue and non-virtue, meditating on the defect of samsara and the law of cause and effect, understand of karma will be awakened in our mind stream. When this occurs, it means our mind has turned towards the Dharma. So now we understand very clearly what is virtuous deeds, what is non-virtuous deeds. So we follow that, understanding karma will be then waking our minds to means like really understanding cause and effect. So belief and trust. It's hard, like regular people. This is like, of course, like high realizers and then practitioners knows what's going on, who has clairvoyance, they recognize. Our case is like we have ignorance and we don't see the long features. So very hard, we don't see the past, we don't see the future. We only see this life, only today. So hard to understand the cause and the effect, but who has clairvoyance, recognize past life, future lives, they understand this karma cause and effect clearly. So we just know that is great, right now what I share the teaching. Then many people think karma cause and effect is incorrect. That say, oh, I don't believe, I don't see my eyes. So that's all is wrong logic. I don't see, I don't believe. That is the worst logic. Worst logic, worst. Not great. Like if you don't see, you don't believe, you don't see tomorrow. What are you going to do? Then why you save money in the bank, right? Think about it. If you don't have tomorrow, just give everything today. Give up today everything. Yeah. Then if something no CI is no exist, then you can see the only the like some areas, but you cannot see other lots. Even this world, we cannot see other countries. Then you say, oh, that countries no exist because I don't see them. That is incorrect, right? You cannot see, but it's there. In yours, inside your body has so many different kinds. They have two kinetics, and what is going on the levels or something. Many inside your body. You cannot see there anything. I cannot see them, but it's there, right? Even we cannot see what inside our body. There is there. So if you don't see, you don't believe, then you don't have anything inside your body. So we cannot trust. Someone says, oh, I don't see, I don't believe. Then some people think, oh, karma is only for Buddhist, not for me, because I don't follow the Buddhist. And they say, oh, karma is for your Buddhist people, not me. So that is also 100% wrong thinking. Karma is called natural law of phenomena. You believe karma, not believe karma. Karma affected for everyone. So that is you have to understand. Karma affected for everyone. Example, poison. You say, I don't believe this going to kill me, so I can drink. So you drink poison, you believe or not due to that. Anyway, you're going to die. That don't poison don't recognize you believe or don't believe. Anyway, poison going to affect you. Same thing, medicine, like someone sick, the doctors say you eat this medicine, help you recovered. They say, oh, I don't believe medicine. So believe or not, but eat your medicine, you can recover. See, that is like not followed by believe or not. And then also think about like medicine, your eye cannot see. The medicine can recover your illness, but there has power, like antidote to the medicine have energy or power. There's something, so that is antidote to sickness and can recover the illness. Same like that. This karma means even we don't see the karma, but they're affected for everyone, all beings. So we have to know like that way, karma, cause and effect. And then, of course, this actually, everyone say, I don't believe karma, cause and effect. All this worldly people are follow the cause and effect. Even they say, I don't believe, I don't see, but actually everyone follow the cause and effect because people study very hard. Why they go to school, study? There's no cause and effect. They don't break the laws. There's no cause and effect, right? So think about that. And then I always sometimes share this way, the thing about all the movies, who make the movies, and all movies like follow the cause and the effect. They always has a good person and a bad people too. So the bad person is the beginning the movie. What he does always is successful. Who's good guy is not successful. It's difficult, hardship. What he does always get trouble and get difficulties. End of a movie, who's become winner? Who's become winner? You see that, right? That's all followed by cause and effect, karma, cause and effect. So you don't see any movie is like bad person who's become 100% winner and the good person is lose there. You don't see like that. So that's always followed by cause and effect, karma, cause and effect. Actually, they're all teaching the cause and effect. So we does everything actually all these things like followed by cause and effect, and we have to the main important daily, whatever good things happening, we recognize is karma. We did something good things, whatever difficulty comes, recognize is karma. We recognize purifying karma and representative other people's karma, so that way we can purify karma. And then we're going to the next one. So as an antidote to grasping at the samsaric pleasures as happiness, we meditate on the defect of samsara. Then we are understanding cause and effect. We recognize we have precious human body, but still we are attached to in this life and the future life. Because grasping at the samsaric pleasures as happiness, that's the reason we have to meditate the defect of samsara. Defect of samsara meditation is antidote to grasping at the samsaric pleasures. So we understand the defect of samsara, then we don't attach to this pleasure things in samsaric pleasure things. We don't thinking about a future life. Okay, I wanted to reborn again human beings. You know, so if who wanted to reborn again in the human beings, that person still don't understand defect of samsara. Who wanted to reborn the heavens like God's realms, that person don't understand defect of samsara. So there's someone like think, oh, someone has a really good life. Oh, my future life, I wanted to be like that. You know, that kind of thought, who has that kind of thinking and thought, that person didn't understand defect of samsara, defect of samsara. So who have understand defect of samsara, they don't think that. So that's why, see, here's this asking into grasping at the samsara pleasures, happiness. We meditate on defect of samsara. The way to do this is as follows. First, we should meditate on the reality that the whole of samsara is not beyond the nature of the three types of suffering. So samsara is not beyond these three types of suffering. The samsara, we understand, samsara is not beyond the nature of the three types of suffering. Means like samsara reality is these three different types of suffering. So then no one wants suffering. If we are reborn samsara again, we are not free from some suffering. So if we want to suffering, then say, okay, I wanted to reborn like that kind of person. But then you really don't understanding. Just you see that maybe auto level looks great, but it's you really low into individually, then no one has a great. It's very hard, difficulty. And other countries think, oh, United States is great, but you come to a United States, it's not great. So then look to individualists think about it's not great. Someone who don't have enough food, who don't have enough clothes, that thing who has food and clothes, that people are great. But you have that person not satisfied, they have same suffering. Then that person think, oh, someone has like companies owned, like someone who has like high possessions, and who's like has kind of like high position or company, like honor someone. So people think, oh, I like that kind of person, I want to have like that kind. So if you really love that person, investigate, that person is more suffering than regular people. That person has no any time relax. That person's life is measurable suffering. Really, we can see that, the time, they don't have a time, they have so much going on every day. The life is so much going on. So then, of course, they're protecting what they have. So that is so much suffering. So what they have, they're going to lose. That is so much suffering. So think that way. It's suffering. And then think about this, who has like kind of looking very good, looking very good. So then that person maintaining their own body, looking great, it's so much suffering. I saw this some, the documentaries. So especially this actors, actresses or something, this who does movies, actors, they're taking care of their own body. They try to stay, they're maintaining their body, like they're looking great. It's like they actually does so much create suffering themselves. They sacrifice so much, they're suffering their own for their doing these things. It's really suffering. This that does surgery, that does like making up, doing things, every day looking, and suffering. Of course, it's everything is impermanent. You cannot maintain it. So whatever you does, nothing is like permanently taken care there because it all is impermanent. Whatever does changing your, like your facing and doing these things, it's just like only looking for temporary, and the longer goal is like wars and wars. So then this actress is like all these surgeries doing things. Then slowly when they're getting older, like if they don't make up, so we cannot look to their face. It's already damaged everything. So there's so much suffering, right? So people think, oh, they are great. You see the movie like, oh, they are great, so they can do some good things. But actually, the individual situations is terrible. No great there. So think then the words they have good in samsara. No any you can find perfect, good. Some like of course the practitioners has. They don't think about the life that they just have already realization. Then they has already controlled their own mind. Someone. So actually they're already free from samsara because body is in the maybe the human being's body, but mind is already liberated. So that person is not in the samsara. Samsara means suffering. So think that way. In this world, no one has happiness. No one is everyone is suffering. See, this all people fighting for high positions. The presidential, like the seat. The seat is a suffering seat. Suffering seat. Everyone wanting happiness creates suffering. That is the one example. Who get that seat? They don't have peace for one day. They don't get one day peaceful because dealing with so many situations. So they're protecting their own seat, and then they're going to worry about lose their own power and seat. The first they're going to get seat is too much suffering. Second, when they get the seat, is protecting its seat is too much suffering. Then after they lost the seat, is too much suffering. Then after lose the seat, they don't know where the person goes. Maybe in the jail, end up in the jail. Chasing happiness creates suffering is like that. So many these presidents going into the jail is like chasing happiness creates suffering. So then all the companies, like all this high boss, everything is like that. That is like give example like defect of samsara. So it looks like great, but actually you really look closely, it's not great. There is immeasurable suffering there, miserable there going on. We don't see that author looks great, but really low into that is no one is great. So we are great, okay? Because we have time to do this teaching, we have time to meditate. Then we also you can do something and worldly activities can survive your life. That is great. Life is great. So if you get more higher something, it's not great. This business people actually they are hungry ghost. I thought it's like used to. I thought it's the business and who own these big companies, and I thought they are great. So I look very closely. They are really hungry ghost. Too much desire. Okay, so then defect of samsara. First, the way to do this is follow. First, we should meditate on the reality that is the whole of samsara is not beyond the nature of the three types of suffering. Suffering compound suffering, the suffering of change, and the pervasive suffering of conjunction phenomena. Three types of suffering. See, suffering, compounding suffering. So that is called suffering of suffering. Suffering, compound of suffering. Yesterday we shared these teachings a lot. The suffering of suffering. You know, this is suffering is usually who don't practice impermanent meditation. That person has this suffering and suffering of suffering. If who understand the impermanent, that person don't affected this suffering. So see, suffering of suffering is like we lose our possessions, and that's a suffering. Then more suffering. We lose loved ones, and we lose like something. Then losing that is a suffering, and then more suffering, called suffering of suffering. And then people who don't know impermanent, who don't follow the cause, and who don't understand karma cause and effect, they get some problems, then they get more suffering. So that is called suffering of suffering. Say, okay, you get something problems. Then you say, oh, I'm get this suffering. I'm in the worst in the. Then that just lose everything, like courage, wanted to do something that I get this suffering. I cannot do anything. Then that thing and that again the suffering, more suffering. Then that also want to suicide themselves. You know, and they don't follow. They don't understand cause and effect. See, that means like if who knows cause and effect, karma cause and effect, they don't do that. The suffering is they take into the path. People who know the cause and the effect, the suffering is take into the path. They don't create suffering of suffering. Yeah. So some like we can see, you know, and sometimes like people love each other. Someone gone, and then some other people also wanted to die. You know, they don't want to live. So kind of like that, and many things happening in the worldly situation. Samsaric beings, so many happening due to the desire and attachment. So that's all is called suffering of suffering. The who don't know the cause and effect, that person has that, and who do know the impermanent, the person has suffering of suffering. People who know the impermanent, the everything is going to change. So everything's impermanent. They don't follow the suffering of suffering. Then suffering of change. So create happiness, something, you know, like it's the suffering of change is something like kind of you know uh, attachment love. So attachment love is kind of suffering of a change. So that's also due to people don't have practice impermanent. People don't understand the cause and effect. That person has the suffering of change. So the thing about suffering of change is like we get something, you know, loved ones come together, they're happy, enjoy, but then become is separate because it's impermanent. Then they're extremely suffering. So that is called change of suffering. First is a happy, joy together, but then become it's like slowly they take to change to suffering. And also same is like you get new car and happy, satisfied, and slowly its cars get accident, cars break down. So or you have to pay, you know, every month have to pay. So that is a suffering called change of suffering. Change of suffering means first you satisfy, happy, then slowly the effect is become problems. This change of sufferings. The person usually people who don't know the cause and the effect, people who don't know the impermanent meditation, they have these problems. Then when we get and the pervasive of suffering, so that part is the hardest part. Pervasive suffering is most people don't understand that. So the pervasive suffering is only the high realizers knows, but regular beings don't fear that, don't recognize that pervasive suffering is. So they give one example. The example is I don't know correct for you. So maybe sometimes I share the example is make sense. Many people, some people say no make sense. I don't know for you. So I'm just going to share with you. So this it's like here is eyelash. Hair is put in your palm. Like get a hair from the example like you know your hair and put in your palm. You don't feel anything. You don't fear. So that is the same as a pervasive of suffering, and that hair is going stuck in your eye. So your eye is pain. You know, you recognize the fears and your pain. So that same is like that. Regular beings, the pervasive of sufferings don't recognize it. Like this hair is put in your palm. You don't feel like that. You know, regular beings don't recognize. This hair is stuck in your eyes. In the eyes, you fear and you pain. So that is Bodhisattva and realizers feel like that. Means samsara is they recognize anyway suffering. So they recognize whatever is like in this worldly and or these samsaric beings doing things is like everything is like just suffering, called pervasive of suffering. Think about as long as we have a born, we have a death, we have old age. This is a pervasive, that is pervasive of suffering. But take time, we don't recognize pervasive of suffering. Long as we have this body is like secondly changing, you know. So then cannot, you know, stop that. Cannot stop that. That is called pervasive of suffering. Cannot stop. No one can stop. Sooner or later we're going to get that direction. But we don't recognize that. So example like earthquake is coming tomorrow. So we are enjoy today here, celebrating, or people get married together. You get married together. So you don't recognize tomorrow what's going on. So that is called pervasive of suffering. If someone has a clairvoyance, today you're going to get married ceremony, tomorrow is going to big earthquake, is going to always like collapse your house, everything, going to disaster, get disaster. Someone see that tomorrow, what do you think you're doing today? These all celebrations. What that person think is crazy, right? They don't recognize anything. But they are enjoy temporarily there. They don't see what going happening tomorrow. So that is called pervasive of suffering. See, the eye, hair is put in the palm, you don't fear anything. The hair is stuck in the eye, is fears. So bodhisattvas feel like that, oh, they see tomorrow. Wow, they see this tomorrow is what going happening. Recognize. These people don't recognize what going on tomorrow happening. They just doing things today, what they're happy. They don't know how to, you know, protecting tomorrow, taking care tomorrow, because they don't know what happening tomorrow. So that's all samsaric beings does. The samsaric beings is called chart. In the Dharma text, in the book, there's talk about the chart. Chart means like just kids, right? Kids, child of kids. The kids is not the refer to the like babies. That in the Dharma book talk about child is samsaric beings, the same as a child. Kids. So everyone is the same as the kids. The kids don't know. So sometimes like see the house is get fire. First floor is burning. In the second floor, the kids is just playing together. Play together, enjoy together. They don't recognize that the first floor is get fire. So that is called pervasive of suffering. Actually, samsara is like that, but we don't recognize. Okay, so then Bodhisattvas, like high realizers, recognize the pervasive of suffering. We don't recognize it's suffering. About the suffering of sudden condition phenomena, pervasive suffering of condition phenomena. All this condition is changing. You know, we don't recognize that. Then, so where is the change? When we get to the point where even thinking about the suffering of the six realms of beings feels unbearable, when we wonder what we would do if we were actually experiencing any of the most extreme forms of suffering. So then, of course, think about these six realms, extremely suffering there. So even we think about this six realms suffering, fears unbearable means like we really scared ourselves. So thinking about these six realms, if we don't get the actually suffering, we think about the six realms suffering, especially these lower realms. It's like we scared ourselves, and so that's why it's hair realms like Nagarjuna is very good explaining in the root. He sent a letter to his friend. So the he said it's like someone, you know, if we this the lower realms suffering come into our life is like like, you know, it's unbearable. uh, so he said like even you hear the teachings like someone talk about hair realms, and if you see the like painting of the, you know, paint at the hair realms, so now these times like people create movies about hair realms. So that kind you see, and then we are, you know, fear really, you know, kind of like something comes, so unbearable, like kind of like strongly fear, scared. So if we really comes to that suffering for us, then it's unbearable, you know, fears unbearable. When we wonder what we would do if we were actually experiencing any of the most extreme forms of suffering. If this suffering really come to us, what are we going to do? Think about. So many beings already have right now that suffering. So we think about them. So many beings has that suffering. So these all beings used to our parents. So think that is like comes strong arise love and compassion to them. So that is go to the next teaching, you know. Love meditation, compassion meditations. So we just think it's this lower realm, and then recognize is how much suffering. We if suffering when we have familiarized ourselves with the facts of samsara, whatever dharma we practice will be on the authentic path. So these meditators meditate the defect of samsara, this beings, what going on other, like what going on, that kind of suffering. They love to that, recognize. the sufferings. Then they meditate, you know, this lower realms and this samsara suffering, recognize. So then practitioners of course have a strong feeling arise, you know, there comes tears for other beings, compassion to other beings. And then of course they really feel scared to reborn into these lower realms. That's why then the mind is turned into the Dharma. Means no, they recognize, oh, I have to practice Dharma. Otherwise, if I reborn into these lower realms, endless suffering. If I reborn in samsara, endless suffering. So I wanted to take care of this suffering. Then which can take care? It's only practice Dharma can take care. So then mind is turned into the Dharma. So until that, you know, mind is not really into the Dharma. Until that, meditators meditate this precious human body and impermanent cause and effect, defect of samsara. So these four thoughts meditations, they meditate, practice. They use these four thoughts meditations every day in their own life, daily life. So when they wake up, usually thinking about the precious human body. So then meditate the precious human body, and then think, oh, I have good precious, I have this good life, so I have to do meaning for something, like use for freedoms. So then there's use, you know, use good thing, something. Example, like when I get US citizen, I wanted to fly, I wanted to go many countries, because used to, I cannot go to other countries, like due to the passport, you know. So people who get this like kind of like passport and US passport, Canadian passport, they wanted to go like fly and go to other countries. So think about other countries, they don't get a visa. So many, of course, like millions people don't get a first passport, any country citizen passport. If you get a passport, so many countries, they don't get visa to go other countries. Okay, they don't have opportunity. Even their country citizen, but not allowed to come. Like many countries, not accept. Right. So then that person like, okay, so someone don't have any country citizen. So then they get citizen, they get a passport. They can go any countries. They can go other countries. Like kind of recognize freedoms. So wanted to go, wanted to use that passport. Oh, I can go this, you know, use that. So think that kind of, you know, precious human body means recognize freedoms. So think about all these lower realms, no freedoms. And then especially precious human body means like so many conditions have to come together, not only due to the freedoms, needed to have to come 10 endowments. So this all have to 8 freedom, 10 endowment, 18 comes together as called precious human body. You have that, you recognize many beings don't have that. Same is like someone, not any citizen countries, they get passport like, you know, freedom country and you can go out all world. So that kind of like, you know, recognizing, right? So then that person recognize, oh, I can do this, practice Dharma opportunities. They wanted to do something good things, meaningful, useful, follow the cause and effect. Yeah. So then whole day is followed by cause and effect. And then of course generally recognize the defect of samsara. So then when you go sleep and meditate impermanent. So then impermanent, like each situation is changed, you recognize all impermanent. So this 4 thoughts meditation is like followed by every day. We have just using. We have to practice. This 4 thoughts meditation is not due to like sitting meditation. Like you say, oh, I'm going to practice 4 thoughts. Not like this way. This 4 thoughts meditation is like followed by daily life. We have to use and change our life. If we use these 4 thoughts meditations, our life is changed. Our life is meaningful and happy, not suffering, not meaningless. The life is not meaningless. So think about this worldly people is mostly people's life is meaningless and life is suffering. Why is that happening? Because due to they don't know this 4 thoughts meditation. If you know the 4 thoughts meditation, even you don't other practice Dharma much, but your life is become meaningful. And you're taking care already future life too. It's very powerful practice. We can do this, you know. This 4 thoughts meditation is like everyone can have ability to do practice this. So everyone can afford this 4 thoughts meditation practice. You know, it's we have everyone has opportunity practice this. We practice this 4 thoughts meditation. Our life is meaningful. When you get up, you do think about the precious human body. Your fear is happy and joy. Really helps. And when we have sad and suffering, think about the precious human body. The sad suffering is like comparing to other people, other lower beings. It's nothing, really nothing. But just we create ourselves is a big deal. Actually, comparing to see higher beings, that suffering is tiny, very small, tiny. Comparing to hungry ghosts, comparing to animals, nothing. So then you know, so, okay, this I have precious human body. You recognize that the suffering is you can release. Then not feel bad because it's like you feel become recognized. We have precious human body. Become our fear is happy and joy. So that is directly introduced to our sadness feeling, unhappy feeling, depressions. See, many people has depressions. Why? Because they don't know precious human body, don't know impermanent, don't know cause and effect, don't understand the defect of samsara. They don't know the 4 thoughts meditation. That's why people has depressions. Then, of course, we have also pandemics or pandemics, something like we have always scared and nervous and going on something. You know, that's also like due to because they don't know the 4 thoughts meditations. If who really know the 4 thoughts, not only just intellectually knowing, who really practice this 4 thoughts meditation, you can get rid of our sufferings, difficulties. So can change right direction. And then it's of course there is all followed by cause and effect. Then whole day is like you wanted to use for meaningfully, and whatever we do things, it's become virtuous deeds. You know, change our intention morning and go to work and do things, actions like if long as you have good motivations, and I mean first you have the good uh, awareness, mindful and awareness. Long as you have that, then you have a good intention, or it's become virtuous deeds. Whatever we do, the body, speech, mind, all these worldly activities take into the path, worldly activities take into the Dharma practice. So then you sit, we have to pay money for in the restaurants. So like thinking about the generosity, long as you have a awareness, mindful, you can do that. And you mentally, you know, it's a generosity can change. You buy things in the shops, you can, or it's a generosity. And whatever we're doing things like thinking about benefiting them, you know. So many things is like, or is like put in the Dharma practice. And then everything is like going to change into the positive, you know, all these worldly activities like You can see beautiful things. Mentally, you can offering to Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. So sometimes like see some people does wrong things, thinking about like, oh, I also did like that kind of wrong things previous life, in this life due to my ignorance. Many people does like that, just like mentally confession to the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, you know, and something like good, you know, like happening and the devotion arise, like mentally prostration to Buddha and the Bodhisattvas. So many things like we can transform into the Buddhist, the practice of Dharma. When you take breakfast, you can offering, and take lunch, you can offering. You take dinner, or it's like do the offerings. Even you does like this food offerings, also it's create accumulation merit. Uh, so many things like you can put in the positive object, create accumulation merit, but we don't recognize that because due to our, you know, habituate, samsaric habituate, pattern, samsaric pattern or habituate is so strong, we like put in the coffee or tea cups that comes in front, right? We just drink, not thinking about, right? People who has good mindfulness, and then when you get the cup, and they just mentally chant the offerings. You know, mentally you can chant offerings, or mentally just this tea, coffee is offering to Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. So that kind of, you know, whatever you with does, all is like is the practitioners take into the Dharma. The when wear the cloth, the thing all are offering to this cloth, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. So body is Buddha, you know. So when you put in the new cloth, oh, this is offering to Buddha. So like you visualize your body is Buddha, right? And also people think eat food, or this is food is offering to Buddha, my body is Buddha. So that's also you can change like, you know, impure perception is transformed to the pure perception, recognize, remind ourselves. So many things like related to all this world is transformed into the practice of Dharma. Long as we have a mindful awareness and we know how to do this, how to use this world is transformed practice in Dharma into the Dharma. So that's all the practitioners does. But we don't know the samsara beings, you know. If who does like that, then when we get difficulty suffering, so of course this also like thing purify my karma. Then that suffering not affected much. So whole like daily practice is followed by cause and effect. Then when go evening, it's thinking about meditate impermanent. So go sleep is thinking about the same as death. Wake up is reborn again. So the death is not far. When you first sleep, it's the same as death. Bardo is your dream. You know, when you wake up, it's your birth. So then morning to all the way until what are you doing things is the reality Pardo. You know, we're talking about this all is you can use this all daily practices in the practice living Pardo or is living Pardo. So that's where we have to think and practice, and then of course have to understand the defect of samsara. Defect of samsara and think again and again that, and your mind is become more soft and soft. That means like uh, comes more love and compassion arising. So turn into the more dharma, spiritual. So that's like love, compassion is, comes next month, next week teaching. Sorry, next week. So we finish four thoughts meditation. So this four thoughts is the most important. That's why Jigten Songgon said the preliminary practice most important is more profound. He said the reason is because this preliminary practice really transform our life. Our life is can transform, change. So then meditators also use this like four thoughts. It's like every day, of course, them go into the meditate like 100 days using this four thoughts meditation, meditate. So then going to go to more deeper levels usually. Okay, so that's the four thoughts meditation. So finish it there today. Now you can ask questions. I'm also a little bit hungry.
Temple,
Yes.
can you explain a little bit more about the motivation? As earlier you said that in the Himalaya, it's more object based. So you said, they are usually told that, you do this, you do that. It's more object based versus in the Mahayana, it's more motivation based. But I don't understand. I don't understand how you can just have the motivation. For example, if I have the motivation to do good for, the mankind, but I don't actually go out and do anything. Like I'm not getting how is that a virtuous deed? Like if you didn't do anything.
So you're doing good thing right now. You're listening, teaching, right?
Yeah.
So that is you're doing good thing too. The great thing, like you say, oh, I wanted to go to listening, teaching. So that is a good motivation. And that is like thinking about, oh, it's benefited me, and I wanted to benefit others listening, teaching. So that's we have to create motivation. That's why we chant the opening prayers. And when we listening, teaching, and say, okay, chant the opening prayers helps like change our motivation. Today this is like, is wanted to benefit myself and others, the listening, teaching. And then during the listening, teaching, and you really, enjoy and put effort listening, all these six parameters in there. So that's all is a good thing to do listening, teaching. So example, like, okay, so one small thing, like you own the camera, like, okay, example, okay, I want to own the camera when you are listening, teaching. That is my body's like offerings. So that's also like become good way to, thinking the like good motivation. See, then also even sometimes you don't do, but you people doing good things, you can rejoice at that also good motivation. Rejoice, right?
Yeah.
Then of course, like maybe you work for companies, like you have good motivation. Okay, I really not don't think about myself. I think this is like benefit my company. This also rely on so many people, jobs, and one company actually rely on so many things. So think that, and I wanted to benefit that, and also that is become good motivation. And then of course you have to go to grocery to buy the food. So change motivations. Think, okay, I'm going to grocery, and I wanted to buy. I want, just this money is offering or generosity to the store. So change it, like kind of like that kind of mindset. That's called good motivation.
Okay. So just having good motivation,
Yes,
but not necessarily actually going out to perform in action is already a virtual deed. Like you don't necessarily need to go out and actually do it.
they have two things: aspiration bodhicitta, engaging bodhicitta. So aspiring bodhicitta means like want to do, wanted to benefit. So that is aspiring.
Okay.
If you say, oh, I want to help these people, oh, actually I cannot help, but actually I cannot help. So That's also good thoughts too.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like that's also create like positive thoughts. That's called positive, and it's good thoughts. That's a good motivation.
That's a good motivation.
So yeah,
Okay.
we cannot do lots of things, but we can have good motivation, good thoughts. See, think about it, so many people sick right now. We cannot really recover them. So think about chant prayer we have, like we sing the all recover this sickness. The mind just wishing they recover this sickness, disease.
Okay.
See, that's also good motivation. Even we cannot really help them, but the motivation is very powerful.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
w-
Campbell, I want to add something on that motivation part. Can you
Yes.
hear me? Is that like I think that we have a chanting book in our
Hello, I
tradition.
cannot hear.
Can you hear me now?
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I don't know if Kempo can.
Oh, can I tell you and you tell Campbell? Yeah, because I remember that when we were.
Excuse me. Why don't you wait a minute? I think he's frozen his internet. He'll be back in a minute. So
Okay.
save your question until he reappears.
Okay. Yes, can you hear me?
Sorry about that, dropped.
You can or cannot?
Can you say again? I can right now.
Yes.
I can. Yes.
Okay, because I remember that when I have a prayer, the banner from the Gating Rinpoche's temple, and I bought it, and there was a Dalai Lama saying that when you get up, you should remember your wonderful human body. You should vow that today I will use this body to benefit being. And then we also have prayer, like everything. If I wash my hand, I wish this hand can do benefit to other people. So every mundane small thing we do, we try to turn to the Dharma and turn our thought that I hope this food can benefit all being and make all being happy. And even though I didn't take the food to the street, offer to all the homeless people, but I wish this food can benefit myself, nurture my wonderful human being, and I also can wish this food can benefit other beings. And I think that's like almost like helping us to motivate our all our daily life into the Buddhist practice. Isn't it right?
Yes.
Temple?
Yes. Correct. Yes.
Yeah, and but
Yes. I can hear.
yeah.
Yes. Your.
Like we said that when we walk, we were.
It's correct. Good motivation. That's.
Yeah, everything we do, like when I ask the question, I wish that this question can benefit myself and benefit all the people who listen and benefit all sentient beings. And I wish my teacher can help me to have wisdom, and I wish all the beings will have wisdom. So I might not going out to teach, but because my motivation make this. Maybe one day the karma will be mature. Then maybe I will be really able to teach other people and to benefit other sentient beings. And those are all motivation. I might not really actually can do everything virtuous, but I wish this can be virtuous so I can help every being. Is that correct? in the future?
Yes, yes. That's a good,
I-
yes, a good motivation. Yes.
I want to ask a question. Is still go back when you were teaching about pervasive suffering, because to my tradition,
Yes.
when I was reading the pervasive suffering, we were talking about the five skandha is like burning fire. So that five skandha is the deep suffering. And when my teacher told me a long time ago, like 30 years ago, and told us about the five skandha like burning, and he said that these are the third stage of suffering, the suffering of suffering, suffering of change, and suffering of the five skandha, the third one, is only the meditator in deep meditation can understand. Is it the true in Tibetan Buddhism? The pervasive suffering.
I didn't understand that. What means? Yeah, pervasive of
to
suffering is we. I just explain. Yes, I didn't understand what you mean. Pervasive of suffering.
Because my teacher taught us when I was much younger, like in a college.
Okay.
And then our teacher told us
Okay.
that the third suffering is very deep. Only deep meditator can understand. Is our five skandha, our form, our feeling, and our perception, and all these things is like a burning fire, burning and burning. So when you in deep meditation, you can understand. Is that true too? The pervasive suffering? I don't know Tibetan tradition about that. Today today is the only time I listen to the from a Tibetan tradition talk about pervasive suffering. Yeah. So I just want to clarify. Is it just like the five skandha burning, or is more like the future? We don't know tomorrow.
Yes. So the using the words, using words explain sometimes different, but main point is always go same. Okay.
Okay. What is the main point then? The pervasive suffering.
The main point is just pervasive of suffering. We don't recognize it's there, but we don't recognize it. That's it.
So mainly as someone practicing in a very profound and deep way, they can understand it, isn't it? In meditation.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's my question.
Yes. So that's meditators, like I already explained. Here is stuck in the eyes, so painful like that, you know. So regular people don't feel the hair is stay in your palm. So that example is like give you directly understand these meditators fear and recognize. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So then.
Gail had a question to put in the chat, but I think it's better if she asks it.
Okay, Gail.
Okay, unmuted. Yes, it was again a question of all pervasive suffering of conditioned phenomena, talking about genocide, Holocaust, evil political leaders like Mao, Stalin, and Hitler, who've killed millions and millions of, tens of millions of people, and crimes against humanity. And is that an instance of all pervasive suffering of conditioned phenomena that is something that millions of people are just caught as victims of this all at the same time, simultaneously? Just, it seems like it's the karma ripening of these three evil people. And then the rest of the people are just sort of randomly caught in a spider web of karma, of all conditioned suffering. Is that something like that? What the all pervasive suffering of conditioned phenomena is?
I think that is actually kind of suffering of a suffering. The pervasive of suffering all these beings has, but not the right way recognized. So that's just you share that is like kind of a suffering of a suffering. First human beings are suffering, then someone torture. So that's the suffering of a suffering.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Yes. So pervasive of suffering is just generally whole situation, samsara, whole generally. You know, pervasive means even right now we don't get stuck there, but we have that, you know, best on already we have. Because long as we have this body is like anyway going to dissolved sooner or later. That is called pervasive of suffering. Every being is like that. And the someone like right now somebody control the people and doesn't matter animals or people like torturing them is called suffering of suffering. First human beings suffering, animals or samsaric beings suffering, then someone torture, that is called suffering of suffering.
Kempo, I want to ask 2 more questions about motivation. So if everything is about motivation, like you said earlier, so we cannot tell if someone's action, even if that action is hurting somebody, we cannot tell if that's a good deed or a bad deed. So, so for example, yesterday we had a heated debate about spanking children. So, you know, obviously as a parent, if you're, you know, if I think most likely we're spanking children is because we want them to be the best. We want them to grow up to be a productive member of the society. So that's a good motivation, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes means like just depending, right? It's like all the spending or this everything is maybe parents we don't know. Some is not mindful, some is like maybe this just doing things mistakes, but some has good motivations. They also has a different, right?
Right.
Always different. Each situation we don't know. Very same, but it's don't know. Lots object is the same, but really the motivations don't know what is purpose. You know, so even like someone you know like of course like you have good motivation and didn't go right direction in the harm for some others, but that is like we cannot say non-virtuous deeds.
So
So the big difference, example, like we care, like intentionally care other people or accidentally care people. That's a big difference.
If
Yeah. So and actually, I share one like example. If I drive, I see the like hitchhiker on the road. I see that person is like whether it's cold, extremely suffering. I really want to have that person. I ask him to come in my car. I wanted to take him where he going. So then something, you know, wrong, mistakenly car get accident or something. That person is dead, die. So then who can make decision? That's virtuous, no virtuous.
okay, but if we take
that is like really don't have you killing the people killing the someone killing is like no virtuous. You don't have that. Actually cared, right? But it's changed, motivation changed.
But there's a degree to that, right? For example, if you're killing one person to save 99 people, right? So I think,
Yes.
you know, we can say, okay, you know what, you do have a good motivation, and that's a virtuous deed, right? But if you have to kill 49 to save 51 people, I don't think that's a math question, right? Like, you know, how do you how do you justify your motivation?
So then that's okay. If I have a kind of like have to do something like that action, so I don't log the number 40 or 50. I don't log the number. The maybe 50 is really harming for others. 40 is like protecting for beings. So then we have to care the 50 ones, right? Because it's you have to follow by the situation, not the number.
Okay, I see. So it's still dependent on the situation and the motivation, regardless the number.
Yeah, or it's like change right there. See?
I see. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
So, Campo, does this mean that soldiers who fight for their country and maybe kill for their country are always doing something virtuous?
Soldiers like this. I cannot really give you make or the 100% make decision there because it's due to individual motivation or the armies, the soldiers. You know, when some soldiers like really wanted to create a war and want to just play with other people's life, you know, that is like different, right? And maybe then that person is whatever that does is of course it's not positive in non-virtuous. But some soldiers like maybe thinking about protecting peace, protecting people, protecting country. They sacrifice their life. They try to get the who harm for others. So that is different. So we don't know this who has that kind of motivation, who don't have.
Campbell, isn't it in Buddhism?
Do you hear
killing
that?
is all-
My internet is like a little bit.
Is it
Killing is what is?
if killing is always no matter what motivation, if you take a life of other people, you always will get the karma result. But if you have good motivation, maybe your karma result will be not necessary to be terrible. But if you kill people with a lot of hatred, anger, or something, then you will really go to really terrible realm, like hell realm. But no matter what, taking a life is seriously, no matter you are a soldier or whatever. So you will have to the result of taking a life. Isn't it true? Even with a good motivation, it still is not, it's not justified.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So yes, truth. It's I told this. The story is the ship captain when he carried this the guy and so that is not 100% or is a positive. The some small percentage is negative. So that's it. So that's actually give all the answer is in the teaching. The story, you know, the person who carried the guy like Buddha's previous life, the story I shared that is not 100% positive everything. They have 1% negative. So that's you just mentioned same thing. Okay, so now I think everyone finish your questions. Thank you everyone. So then today actually day is the last day, not yesterday. I did mistakes. Yesterday is the 29th. Today is the 30th. the Tibetan calendar. It's today actually there has a sun. What is sun clover? How do you say the sun's solar clover?
Eclipse?
Eclipse.
Sun is going to die today. Yeah, eclipse. So that means the sun is going to die today. So sun also impermanent. Okay, so then also today is the longest day is going to change. So many going on today. This we don't recognize, but it's actually other animals, many beings recognize what is going on this element. So today is good to chant the Kenda Zambo prayer and the 6 o'clock. So we're going to do the prayer together, Kenda Zambo prayer. Okay, so meditate and Kenda Zambo prayer chant together. There are many reasons going on today. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
See you
you.
at 6 o'clock.
See you tonight. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
See you
Kempo.
at 6.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Mm.